Alrighty. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm so excited that you're taking some time out of your evening to learn this information that we feel is very valuable. And obviously, if you're on this call, it's because you're close with Katie or Mara, and they would like for you to know something that they've been up to for a while. So my name's Julie, and I'll be hosting this call for you this evening. And I wanted you to know that myself, along with Katie and Mara, are part of a unique community called the Healthy Living Revolution, where together we come alongside of individuals and families and help them to take their health back in ways that are simple, doable, and fun. And we're encouraged to share this message tonight for a few reasons, so I'll go ahead and get started. First is that there are two startling trends that are happening in our world today. And the first trend is that our environmental toxins are increasing. So whether it's, excuse me, products that you put on your skin, the air that you're breathing, the food that you're eating, the pharmaceuticals you're taking, the water you're drinking, our world is so much more toxic today than it was for our ancestors. And at the same time that our world is becoming more toxic, our food quality is severely decreasing. So I love this image because this gentleman is in the center aisles of the grocery store. And I know about 8 years ago, I made a big switch where I stopped looking at the calories and fat in my food, and I started looking at the ingredients. And I was shocked when I realized that most of what I was eating wasn't really even food. It was more food-like products. Our food should really be helping to fight this increase in toxicity, but unfortunately, it's just contributing to it. It's full of preservatives, enhancers, synthetic vitamins, pesticides. And the results of these problems are pretty scary. This is Dr. David Katz. He said this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. He's the head of prevention at Yale. Since he said this quote, it's been proven true. It was reaffirmed true 2 weeks ago when the CDC reversed the life expectancy from 77 to 74. So at a time when we have more medical advances than we have ever had, to know that we are doing something that is causing our life expectancy to go backwards is very alarming. By age 12, many of our children have developed the beginning stages of hardening of the arteries. 1 in 3 children is obese, 1 in 3 will develop diabetes, and more than 25% of children take prescription drugs on a regular basis. This is Dr. Bill Sears. He's known as America's pediatrician, and he shares that really as adults we aren't doing any better. 1 in 3 adults live with some form of cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will have cancer and 1 in 2 men. I feel like I have to repeat that. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will have cancer. I know I've been sharing this information for over 4 years now, and it just gets more true in my life every single year, and that is alarming to me. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 3 is obese. But that's all of the depressing news that we're going to talk about tonight. It really should be encouraging from here on out because of this quote right here, and this is what gets me fired up. 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. I know my journey into wellness and the link between nutrition and disease started with my mom's diagnosis with rheumatoid arthritis. And that is a chronic disease that is lifestyle related. And while there are, health issues that we deal with that we have no control over, the truth is that a lot of Americans are dying of lifestyle related diseases. And I know for me, I used to learn this and I kind of felt discouraged, but I think you're going to feel encouraged with the information that you hear on the rest of this call. So oxidative stress is linked to poor health. So what the heck is oxidative stress? Well, as long as you're breathing, you have oxidative stress happening in your body. It is the root of disease, aging, and death. It is cellular damage. We have free radicals in our body that ping in our cells all day long, millions of times a day, and they cause damage to our cells. But God invented, this amazing thing called antioxidants. And what happens when we eat antioxidants is that the antioxidant donates a proton to the free radical, and that neutralizes the free radical. And so it delays damage to our cells. A really great way to think about it is when you slice open an apple, and the inside of the apple, the flesh, is exposed to the air and it begins to brown, to rust, to age. We know if we take lemon juice, an antioxidant, and we squeeze that over the flesh, it delays that aging process. And that really is what antioxidants do in our body. And so they are powerful at slowing down disease, aging, and death. And we all know where we get antioxidants from, right? From fruits and vegetables. But today's mass-produced produce is packing a much less nutritional punch. So the first reason for this is soil depletion. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. But the second is that it's mass-produced. So I can go up to the store and I can get just about any fruit or vegetable I want. But because we have such awesome variety available to us all the time, it is far from vine ripened. And fruits and vegetables get over 80% of their nutrition within the last 24 to 48 hours of ripening on the vine. So I know when I buy a green banana, right, at the store, it's not even come close to vine ripening. And I've heard it be compared to, a baby in utero. And I think it makes a lot of sense. We know the difference of a 40-week baby and a 38-week baby, and a 38-week baby compared to a 36-week baby. That baby is meant to be connected to its nutrient source as long as possible. And that's exactly how that plant is. It's meant to be connected to the vine. We pick it so early and it's depleted in nutrition. And this is the result. It's alarming. And the iron content that was present in a bowl of spinach in 1953, you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach in 1997 to get the same iron content. Actually, it's 50. Is it 53? I think it might be 53 bowls of spinach. And that was over 20 years ago. And that's just iron. There's so much more than iron present in spinach. So I actually believe that this image right here describes a lot of those challenges and those scary statistics that we saw from the doctors earlier, because we're trying. We all know we need to eat better. We're all trying to eat well, but we are fighting a bit of an uphill battle. So, in 50 to 60 years ago, we decided that we weren't eating well. So we came up with the standard, multivitamins. And as we know, we have not gotten any healthier since multivitamins hit the market. But what we didn't know then that we're learning now is really just how abundant our plants are. So at the time that the multivitamin came to be, we thought there were 12 essential nutrients in food that we needed. So we isolated man-made synthetic, put it in a vitamin, and thought we were bridging the gap. But what we're learning is that they have located over 20,000 different unique nutrients in one apple. They've located over 25,000 nutrients in one blueberry and over 14,000 in one avocado. They've only named 140 of the 14,000 in the avocado. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. We'll probably never know what's really present in food and why it's so powerful in our body. And we've kind of figured that out, right? It's like, oh, your zinc only works if you take it with selenium, and vitamin K only works if you eat it with magnesium. The truth is, whole food is perfectly synergistic, right? All of these 400 nutrients that you see that are in an apple, they know how to work perfectly together. So there's two great examples of this that I love. An apple has 5.7 milligrams of vitamin C. But when you eat it and your body digests it, it's the equivalent of taking an isolated megadose 1,500 milligram vitamin C tablet, because that's what your body can do with all of those nutrients. Also, lycopene is found in a tomato, and it's known to fight prostate cancer. But they're finding when they remove the lycopene, it has no effect on the cancer. So it's because that lycopene is working with all of those other ingredients that are in the tomato. So we really don't have a vitamin deficiency. We have a whole food deficiency, and we need more whole food. So for a long time, it was 5 a day, and the government caught on that we were not eating enough, and they upped it to 7 to 13. But that's if you're healthy. If you're fighting disease or if you exercise at all, you actually need 16 to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And there are some studies coming out that suggest within the next 50 years, the recommended daily allowance of fruits and vegetables will be 30 servings a day to fight our increase in toxicity from our environment. That's remarkable. The government said, finally, more matters. And they're right. Nobody with our standard American diet is getting too many fruits and vegetables. So, myself, Mara, and Katie are all grateful because at some point, someone introduced us to this amazing product called Juice Plus. And I love to give the backstory of how Juice Plus came to be. It was developed over 30 years ago by a doctor. His name was Dr. Smokey Santillo. And he was a holistic practitioner that helped cancer patients juice. And his dad was diagnosed with cancer and given 3 weeks to live. He had lymphoma. And so Dr. Smokey wanted to find a way to make his juice more powerful. So he decided that instead of juicing the fruits and vegetables, he was going to take the whole plant with the pit, the peel, the rinds, the seeds, even the leaves from the vine whenever possible, and blend it all up in a massive Vitamix. He took what was left over, which was like a slurry, and he dehydrated it at a cold temperature to preserve the nutrients, and it resulted in powder. These capsules are full of powder. It's what we call powdered produce, or salad bar in a capsule. And he just pumped his dad full of these powders, and he ended up living for 6 more years. And not only did he live, but he had good quality of life, which is so rare for cancer patients these days. And it was at that point that Dr. Smokey knew that he was onto something. He looked for a company that would share it the way this is being shared with you, because it has to be explained. This is not a vitamin or a supplement that can sit on the store shelf. It would go bad. It is food. And then 25 years ago, he found that company, and this product hit the market as Juice Plus, which again, 25 years in this supplement space is very rare. So I want you to take a second to look at all of these colors, all of this variety, and I want you to know that food is information for your body. So if you were to be tested for breast cancer, they would feed you a certain mineral, because they know every single time that that mineral will go straight to the breast. And that is how food is. Food has information, detailed information. Every time we eat it, it goes to certain spots in our body, and different foods go different places. And so I talk to people sometimes who say, oh, I eat a lot of fruit, I just need the greens. And the truth is, we all need this. We all need a variety every single day of this information, so that whether we have a good day or a bad day, our body is consistently getting this amazing variety, and it knows exactly where to go in our body. So there are 3 things that make Juice Plus incredibly unique. And the first is my favorite. It's that it's food. It has a nutrition label, not a vitamin or supplement label. There is no warning label. You cannot overdose. You can take it while pregnant. When my kids were 6 months old, I opened it up and I put it in their food. I don't think it makes sense for us to take anything that isn't okay if you aren't pregnant, nursing, or under the age of 12. Outside of alcohol. I think that that's totally fine and a wonderful gift. But really, this just made sense to me when I learned that it was food. It's full of phytonutrition, which is what you saw that was in the apple, not isolated synthetic ingredients. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. It's NSF certified, which is the third party that validates that what we say is in our product is, and nothing more. It's the highest level of certification you can receive, and we've had it for over 20 years. But the reason why I love the NSF certification is because that's what ensures that it's free of any herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, yeast, mold, bacteria, and heavy metals. And even when I buy, an organic apple at the store, I don't know that it's free of all of those things. And then finally, when Juice Plus hit the market 25 years ago, people had unique experiences. So they decided they wanted to see, what is this doing on human beings with blood drawn? And today we are the most researched nutritional product in the world, with 38 published studies and 9 underway. We've been researched at MD Anderson, Brigham Young, Yale, Vanderbilt, some of the most prestigious facilities here in the United States and abroad. And our research is wonderful. I'm going to tell you my favorite study because it's awesome. This study was the brainchild of a group of cardiologists, and I learned from giving this presentation to a pharmaceutical rep that the JACC, the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, is very hard to get into. So that is really great that we're in it. I didn't know that. And this was done at the University of Maryland. And these cardiologists know that 50% of heart attacks happen 4 hours after a high-fat meal. So they took a group of people to McDonald's, and they fed them a pretty standard McDonald's breakfast, and they waited 4 hours, and they measured the constriction in their brachial artery. And that is this gray bar, which is really interesting. So all of these people, their bodies were working 40 to 50% harder to pump their blood through 4 hours after that meal from McDonald's, which is pretty amazing. And then they divided the group up into 3. So they put one group on a placebo, they put one on our fruits and our veggies, and then the last one on our fruits, veggies, and our berry blend. And they waited just 28 days. The purple bar is 28 days later. Took them back to McDonald's, fed them the same meal, waited 4 hours, measured the constriction. And as you can see, they found that the placebo group, they had a slight reduction. They also had the least amount of constriction to begin with. The group on our fruits and our veggies, they had over 60% less constriction just 28 days later. And then the group on all 3 with our berry blend, they went from almost 50% constriction down to less than 1%. And here's why I love this study. These people changed nothing else. They added 6 capsules of powdered produce, and their body knew exactly what to do with that produce. And I've read some pregnancy studies that suggest that you're better off adding in good than you are eliminating the bad. And I think sometimes with how conflicting some of our health information is that we get these days, we get so worried about being perfect or getting rid of everything that's terrible, when really we might just need to focus on adding in more of what's good. And the great thing is that your body recognizes Juice Plus because it's food and it knows exactly what to do with it. So I love that study. Our trio of capsules is our core product, but we also have Juice Plus complete shakes. They are delicious. They come in chocolate and vanilla. And if you consider that your body is like a car, you know, a car needs oil and gas to run well and a high quality of each. And your body needs micronutrition and macronutrition. But we know if we delay an oil change or skip an oil change, our car will still run as long as there's gas in the tank. But problems will be brewing, and we'll eventually know the problems. And I feel like that's actually where a lot of Americans are. The micronutrition is the oil. That was the 400 ingredients you saw in the apple. I think many of us are deficient in that, but we have gas in the tank, right? We have proteins, fats, and carbs. So we're running all day long, but problems are brewing. And that's where our shakes come in. These will actually fill your belly. We realize that we have an abundance of macronutrition in our country, but very little of it is of high quality. So our shakes are low glycemic, so they stabilize your blood sugar. The number one thing my friends tell me is they keep me full. And it's not because it has 50 grams of whey protein in it. It's because it keeps your blood sugar stable. It's vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy free. It's full of plants and powerful prebiotic fibers and oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides help to heal the lining of your gut. And so at a time when many people are dealing with leaky gut, that's really exciting. I love these. My whole family lives on them. And then finally, it's been a year in October that we introduced our newest capsule product in what was 14 years, our Juice Plus Omega Blend. And I'll tell you, I was a little annoyed when we launched these because I thought we had the perfect product and I didn't know why we were messing with perfection. But these help me with my anxiety, so now I love them. We realize that many of us do not get high quality omegas in our diet. So a lot of us are bridging the gap with the fish oil, but there's issues with that. You know, number one, that can lead to our toxicity. Number two, it's not sustainable. It takes 3 to 4 pounds of fish to make 1 ounce of fish oil. And number three, the fish actually get their omegas from the algae. So we just decided to skip the fish. We went straight to the algae. We did a full plant-based omega and a full spectrum omega. So it's omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. But what's really important is that the omegas are cold pressed, and that's really rare. If you take an omega supplement now and it's fully encapsulated, that means it's had to be heated up in order to be encapsulated. And when you heat up that capsule, you heat up the oil inside, and that can turn the oil rancid. They've done studies on omega supplements on the counters. Many of them are full of rancid oil. So that is obviously not a great investment. But the research is underway on these omegas right now. I'm certain it'll probably be out this year. And we don't know much yet, but we have heard that it is some of the most the most amazing data that they have seen on omegas before. So I love it. And I'm going to wrap this part up with a quote from Dr. Richard Dubois. He was head of infectious disease in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was named America's top doc a couple times. He was one of the first of now thousands of healthcare professionals to recommend Juice Plus. And he says, there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and ask Katie to unmute herself and just share with us her story of how Juice Plus has impacted her life. So take it away, Katie.
Thanks, Julie. Most of you that are on the phone probably know my story, but about 5 years ago, I started experiencing some health issues. My background is in staffing and recruiting, but I've always been health conscious. And when I started experiencing GI issues, acid reflux, migraines, allergies, you name it, I was considered physically fit, but basically nutritionally deficient. And I did not know what I did not know. My diet consisted of quesadillas, buttered noodles, and peas because I was not able to properly digest any sort of food. And it was really becoming debilitating. So when Juice Plus was introduced to me by Julie, it's been 3.5 years now, I had zero expectations, zero. I just knew that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said I would be willing to try anything at that point. I changed nothing else in my diet or lifestyle other than adding these capsules. And within 2 months, I realized I didn't need my allergy medicine. And within 4 months, I was off all of the 5 prescriptions that I was on. So I became really passionate about learning more related to the relationship between nutrition and disease, and realized that food really is medicine. And I became really passionate about sharing with others, and always have been involved in the community. I love what I've learned. The research is second to none. I do all of the capsules, the trio order plus the shakes, and then I added the omegas last year, and can definitely tell of such a difference between my anxiety. So I think that definitely plays into that. So I'm really interested in what the research is going to say. But thanks so much for joining tonight and taking time out of your Sunday evening to learn a little bit more.
That is awesome. Yes, when Katie and I reconnected, she was not in a great spot with her health. And I definitely did not think Juice Plus was going to have the effects that it had, but it was so encouraging to see that. So awesome, Katie. Okay, Mara, you want to unmute yourself and share your story?
Sure. Hi. Well, I don't really know what my story is other than I am currently 9 months pregnant and didn't expect to have this wonderful blessing 10 years later after my youngest child was born. So my Juice Plus journey restarted at that time. I did Juice Plus probably 5 or 6 years ago because another cousin of mine recommended it, loved it, fell in love with it, and then kind of just let life happen. And I wasn't thinking about anything until now. All of a sudden I'm 37 and having a baby, and I feel old and like my body's not ready for this. So Katie shared with me this amazing story, and Julie chimed in and shared her awesome input. And I started this Juice Plus journey again, probably like 6 or 7 months ago. And it's been great. I can honestly say that I remember why I did it in the first place and why I fell in love with it. And I absolutely love it. Recommend it to any and everybody. And I think it's just a great, great product. And I can't say enough about it. So I'm really thankful for that. Thank you.
That's awesome. Mara, I love that you got pregnant and you thought, okay, I need to add Juice Plus back in, right? That speaks volumes. I love that. And I was able to use it as my prenatal for my second as well, which was such a gift. So 9 months pregnant, you look fantastic. Well, we just want to thank you all for joining. And, you might fall anywhere on the spectrum. We really offer you to do one of 3 things. Number 1, you may just really feel kind of pumped up to eat better. Maybe you're realizing, okay, I do need to make some great changes. And if this is just part of encouraging you to make some better dietary changes and eat more fruits and vegetables, we are so with you on that. And we hope that you do that. But number 2, maybe you want to add Juice Plus in. It's very affordable. It's the most affordable way we know to get a lot of great nutrition into busy families. It's about $2 to $3 a day, depending on where you come in. But the Juice Plus company has an amazing program where children can get it for free. So any adult who takes Juice Plus can sponsor any child age 4 through 18 or a full-time college undergrad, and they can get it for free for up to 4 years. So make sure you ask whoever invited you about that. And then finally, if you heard this message and you thought of someone in your life, that really is our mission. We're on a mission to inspire healthy living around the world. We're on a mission to get this message out there that they literally put kale and broccoli into a capsule. And we think everyone needs to know about that. So if you thought of anyone, please let Katie or Mara know. But in the meantime, we just really appreciate that you took some time to learn about this tonight. You can go ahead and unmute yourselves, and I will stop the recording.